This is a hard act to follow. Towards the end of the day, tired faces in the room. And more important, I'm following someone who comes from Bollywood. I'm following Amit ji, who knows the future and technology a lot better than most of us. And I'm very scared of Sandeep because he called his cousins nice but dumb. I'm worried he'll go back and say I had nice but dumb co-panelists also. So, question, why are we talking about data in a session on media? I'm sure that's a question on everyone's mind. If you look back 15 years ago at Google, Google and internet were new fads, but who would have believed that Google is pretty much among the world's largest media companies today? It's caused the death of the print medium in the United States. It's eating up everyone's lunch. So what I can assure you is, so technology companies have taken over media. Going forward, the way of the future is data will also take over media. So people in media, media professionals, media owners need to watch out for this, need to be prepared for this change. And I would like to assure Kiran Ramsahai, who was so worried about next 75 to 100 years, what's going to happen to the Hindu Dharma. I can assure you that if we use data correctly, that can be a single biggest leverage to build what Amit ji calls as engagement with youth, engagement with the global Hindu fraternity, and that is going to be your Brahmastra actually. So hopefully what I can share with you in the next 10 minutes is with data, basically two themes I'm going to focus on. One is the fact that we are deluged with data, we're drowning in data, and it's a universal challenge. And I'll amplify that shortly. Second is, however, by using new technology, we can harness data. And that for me is the opportunity for the Hindu perspective. So hopefully these two themes, समस्या सबके लिए है, लेकिन हम सब के लिए एक मौका है. That is the underlying theme of the presentation. There's never been such a deluge of data. If you look at the since morning, how many SMSs and how many Facebook comments and how many tweets would the people in this room have done? You would have made phone calls, you would have sent SMSs, you would have looked at emails, all of that. The fact is, by doing all that, you are dealing with data. Each individual processes so much data in a day that in reality, an average person today processes more data in a single day than a person 500 years ago did in his entire lifetime. So look at the paradigm shift. Ek din mein, the amount of data you handle as an individual is what our forefathers did in an entire lifetime. And that is the crux of the problem. And it will only get worse as we go forward. Today, our mobile phone is a data sensor. Tomorrow, your car will become a data center. Your refrigerator will become a data center. You are going to be surrounded and inundated by data. That is the crux of the problem. You look at your life around you. For your news, for your travel, for food-related things, you rely on applications and websites, and you go and search things, you browse things. All of that is because you have access to such useful data. You spend time doing it, and in that process, you generate so much data. What happens as a result is that you're left. I'd go through this many days. At the end of a day, I sit clutching my head saying, I am exhausted. And this is not surprising because at the end of the day, when you dealt with 50 emails and 20 SMSs and 100 spam phone calls that you did not want, you are truly exhausted. And if, now you look at it from the Hindu perspective, what happens when there is too much data? If you try and do a search, as a consumer of Hindu news, do a search for Lord Ganesha. You will get 65 lakh search results. 65 lakh search results for one query which saying Lord Ganesha. Now look at the plight of a poor person, who's a poor individual who's trying to get this information. He's not going to wade through so many pages with 65 lakh search results. So as a consequence, what happens is you get exhausted and you look at the first 3 or 4 or you're left dissatisfied. So, however, there is an answer to this. How do you convert this misery to magic? And there is a body of research that this lady called Sheena Iyengar, a very well-known researcher in Columbia University, she says when the human brain is such that if you have between 4 to 6 options or choices placed before you. Your mind can process it, and you take a decision, and you're happy about it. So if someone, instead of 65 lakh results in front of you, if you're interested in something to do with Lord Ganesha, and someone gives you 4 to 6 options of things that you're interested in, you're happy, and someone's done the hard work for you. The good news is technology can do this answer for you, provide this answer for you. On the next, I'm going to show you one scary slide. That's the only scary slide in my presentation, so don't get scared. I'm just going to give you a sense of it, just to show, before I get to that to convert misery to magic, we have an opportunity to use technology as a consumer, as media professionals, but most importantly, what I'm going to focus on in the next few minutes is, for the Hindu perspective, how can we harness this technology to solve Kiran Ramsahai's problem of worrying about the next 75 years? And that's what I hope to share with you in the next few slides. This technology is mind-boggling, but I'm going to explain it in very simple terms. Today there is a phrase called big data technology. It will become as pervasive as internet is 5 years from now, I can assure you that. But what it does is, this technology has the ability to pick up any and every kind of data in the world. It can pick up Facebook messages, it can pick up tweets, it can pick up Excel sheets, it can pick up anything, and it can process all that and package it for you in a friendly manner. So what happens is, technology does the hard work and process it for you. And I'll give you a very simple example. I'm going to focus on 3 opportunities for the Hindu perspective for using data and harnessing data. One is, it allows us to engage the youth with Hindu Dharma. To me, that is an important aspect of taking the Hindu perspective forward. Second, this hall is full of global Hindus. How can we facilitate the emergence of the global Hindu and build a fraternity and build a brotherhood across the world? And third is, how do you make Hindu power invincible? To me, we have the power of using this technology to able to do all 3 things. Let's take the simple example. That same Google search where you said, I want to know more about Lord Ganesha, you got 65 lakh search results. If you use big data technology and assume this is your mobile phone, and you put a query there, tell me more about Lord Ganesha. And imagine Sushil Pandit. Sushil Pandit is too old for this, so I will not take his name. I'll take your name, the young lady out here. If she puts this query, saying, tell me about Lord Ganesha, because it's her mobile phone, her history of what sites she browses and the kind of person she is, how many phone calls she makes, the phone knows it. What will happen when she does this is, tell me about Lord Ganesha. What she will get on her phone are 6 options, which says, visit Ashtavinayak or Jambukeshwara temple at Trichy. Celebrate the spirit of Ganesh Chaturthi. You can buy those gifts for your family and friends. One is the Ganesha t-shirt and another is a gift. Books that you may like. So what has happened? Now this is so simple at the front end. What has happened is, at the back end is massive processing power and intelligence, which says she is a person who will like to see these kind of things, so it is so personalized and placed before her. If you ask the same question, it might produce something else. Because you're wearing a sari of a certain kind, it will not show this t-shirt to you, it might show you a sari, for example. So that is how it gets personalized. And the reason I'm saying this is, today's youth lives with the mobile phone 24 hours a day. They jump from app to app, site to site. If you want to engage the youth with the Hindu perspective, it has to be through a mobile device, it has to be using this kind of intelligence, and that is the power that this group today, which is assembled here, must leverage. Second example, the global Hindu. This is a situation that I have relatives from overseas. When they come to India, they make plans. 4 हफ्ते की छुट्टी पे आए हैं. I have to meet relatives. I have to go and eat certain food, but I also need to visit certain temples. So the question is, which temple should I visit in India? If you do a search on Google which says places of Hindu worship in India, you will get 90 lakh results. Now, आप 4 हफ्ते की छुट्टी पे आ रहे हैं, you don't want to spend even 90 minutes going through 90 lakh results. You don't want to do that. But if this is a phone with one of my relatives, because he is from Tamil Nadu, and because the phone and his past history suggests that he is the Bhakt of Lord Shiva, what he will get are 6 options of all Shiva temples in Tamil Nadu. Fortunately, as a party, the BJP has made progress, particularly with respect to doing great opinion polls and great social media work. But you could end up repeating the same mistake 5 years from now if you don't do something to make this power invincible. So what I'm suggesting here is big data technology can allow you to constantly have a finger on the pulse to track what is the public saying, what is the media reporting, what kind of work is actually happening on the ground in terms of development projects, etc. This information is happening at the ground level across the country, but this technology can process all this, and what it can provide the Prime Minister or the party leadership is a simple booth and constituency level signal. इस constituency में, इस booth में लाल बत्ती है, वहाँ पे चीजें ठीक नहीं हो रही हैं. यहाँ पे हरी बत्ती है, that means everything is proving fine. So you are constantly prepared to defend and protect your power so that you're never taken by surprise like 2004. So in sum, I want to stop here and just sum up what I said. One is very clearly, we are deluged by data, but for this group, it is an opportunity to harness it for the Hindu perspective, A, to engage the youth, B, to make friends with the global Hindu, and finally to protect the power that you acquired after such great work. That is in heart. Hopefully at the end of it, it's clear to everyone why data, how is data close to media, and what is the connection with the group that is meeting. Thank you.